Learning English with English Faculties.
Welcome to this explainer. Today we're building a mental classroom anchor chart to completely master one of the most useful and, let's be honest, sometimes confusing spelling rules in the English language. If you've ever frozen up while trying to spell words like puppies or played, wondering exactly what you're supposed to do with that tricky letter Y at the end, you are in the perfect place. Here is our game plan for today. We're going to look at the tricky letter Y, break down our two big rules, uncover the hidden logic of English spelling, and finish up with a pop quiz. Section 1. The tricky letter Y, a part-time vowel. So to really get this spelling rule, we've got to look closely at the letter Y itself. It's fascinating because it kind of has a split personality. Sure, it acts like a consonant at the start of words. Think of yawn or yellow. But get this. In over 70% of English words, it's actually doing the job of a vowel. Usually it sits at the very end of a word, like in cry or baby. And because it acts like a vowel so often, it interacts with suffixes in very specific, predictable ways. Moving on to Section 2, the consonant plus Y rule. Change Y to I. All right, let's build the left side of our mental anchor chart. If a base word ends in a consonant followed immediately by a Y, you absolutely must change that Y to an I before adding a suffix like ES or ED. Think of the consonant as a bossy neighbor that literally forces the Y to pack up and transform into an I when a new ending comes along. Take the word puppy, turning into the plural puppies. Look at the letter right before the Y in puppy. It's a P, right? A consonant. Because of that bossy consonant, the Y has to change into an I before we drop on that ES suffix. The exact same swap happens with the word try, becoming tries. The consonant R is sitting right there next to the Y. So when we add the suffix, that R dictates that the Y becomes an I, T-R-I-E-S. Once you see the pattern, it's an incredibly consistent rule. And it's not just for plurals with an S or ES. It applies to other suffixes too, like ED. Look at carry. It ends in the consonant R, followed by Y. If we're talking past tense, carried, we just swap the Y for an I and then add our ED. Section 3. The vowel plus Y rule. Keep the Y. Time for the second half of our anchor chart. What happens when Y is hanging out with another vowel? Well, if a word ends in a vowel, that's A, E, I, O, or U, followed by a Y, you just keep the Y and add the suffix directly. The vowel acts like a protective shield for the Y, so you don't need to change a single thing about the base word. Notice how the O protects the Y in the word toy. Since O is a vowel, we just leave the Y exactly as it is and slap our S on the end to make toys. It's literally that easy. No letter swapping, no changing the root word at all. The vowel A is doing the exact same job in the word play. Because A is a vowel, it keeps the Y perfectly intact when we add ED for played. That vowel team A works together, and we definitely don't want to break up a good team just to add a suffix. Even with longer, multi-syllable words, the rule holds up perfectly. Take monkey. That E right before the Y tells us to leave the spelling alone. So monkey becomes monkeys just by tacking an S right onto the end. Section 4. Why change the spelling? The logic of English. You might be thinking, is this just arbitrary torture from English teachers? It feels like English spelling is just full of random exceptions meant to trick us, right? Well, believe it or not, linguists estimate that a staggering 70 to 85% of English words actually follow standard, logical spelling rules like this one. It's a highly structured code. Learning the Y to I rule isn't just memorizing a quirk. You're actually decoding the underlying architecture of the entire language. So why swap the letters at all? A massive reason is readability. We want to avoid clunky visual patterns. For example, English spelling is specifically designed to avoid putting two I's next to each other. Changing Y to I in most other cases helps keep the visual flow of the word familiar, making it incredibly easy for our brains to process as we scan a page. Just compare happiest, spelled with a Y, to happiest, spelled with an I. The version with the I is so much cleaner, isn't it? The I seamlessly connects the base word to the suffix without breaking our visual rhythm. It just looks right to the trained reader's eye. All right, Section 5, pop quiz time. Let's test your knowledge. Let's put that mental anchor chart to the test with a rapid-fire quiz. First question, how do you make the word baby plural? Take a really close look at the letter right before the end of the word. Ask yourself, is that a consonant or a vowel? Lock in your answer.
Did you get it? Because B is a consonant, we change the Y to an I and add ES to get babies. You can clearly see that bossy consonant B forcing the change. Awesome job if you got that one right.
Next up, how do you add the suffix ed to the word enjoy? Think about what type of letter is sitting right before the Y here. Do we swap it or do we keep it?
It's a vowel. That letter O acts as a shield, so we keep the Y exactly where it is and just tack our ed right onto the end to get enjoyed.
Let's officially lock in your mental anchor chart. Two big takeaways here. Consonant plus Y means you change it to I, like puppy to puppies. Vowel plus Y means you keep the Y, like toy to toys. And always remember, this rule is totally designed to make words smoother and easier to read. Now that you've mastered this phonetic code, here's my challenge to you. Which word are you going to decode next using the Y to I rule? Keep your eyes peeled for these transformed words out in the wild, whether that's in books, on signs, or in your own writing. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and happy reading!